Hi everybody, it's Christina from Adventures in Polished Land, and today I am here to pick my August TBR for the American Lit Reading Challenge. This is the challenge I'm doing this year where I am reading a book set in every single US state and territory with the intention of celebrating the diverse people that we have in this country. And so far I am a little bit behind, but not too bad. I actually today finally printed off a map. So I used a coloring sheet. I will link it below. Actually, I just found it on a random website, but I wanted to get one that had the territories on it, and that was a little bit challenging. I found one that was okay. And then today when I was adding in everything I've done so far, I noticed it didn't have the Virgin Islands on there, so I had to add that in myself. But here is how we are looking. I did different colors and used a different color for each month. So red is January, orange is February, yellow is March, and so on and so forth. And right now I am using a pink for July. So I think this looks pretty good. I am making significant progress, but still have a while to go. And I ended up tallying everything I have left. I am currently working on a book that is set in California. It is July 26th when I am filming this, so I'm hopeful to finish that within the next few days. And then I'm going to be moving on to my pick for North Carolina, which is The Townsend Family Recipe for Disaster by Shauna Robinson. And then I have about 25% of a book read for the Northern Mariana Islands, which is I'm Laughing Because I Am Crying. And I have to finish those 3 books before I am caught up. But if I did all of my calculations correctly, as long as I read 5 books each month from August through the end of the year, I will successfully complete the challenge. I think this is still going to be a challenge, but I'm confident that if I stick with it, I will complete it. And it's not the end of the world if I carry it into next year. I think this is definitely more challenging than I expected, but I am still enjoying it. And I think coloring in the map today reinvigorated how I am feeling about this challenge. So all of that being said, let's go ahead and pick out 5 more states or territories from my handy dandy Red Sox cup. I have everything cut up and hidden in papers in here. So let's pick out 5 and then we will create a TBR. I always like to shake it up a little bit and then reach for 5. Here is 2. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So let's see what states or territories I will be reading from in August. First up, we have Virginia. I threw everything on the floor and then I couldn't find them. Next up, we have Hawaii. Then we have Pennsylvania. Then we have Nebraska. And finally, we have Montana. So what I'm going to do is pause this video. I'm going to consult the list of books that I have pre-planned for this challenge. Those are books that are on my library want to read list that I have had saved for years and have been wanting to get to them. So those are what I always go for first. But then if I don't have anything pre-planned, I will do some research, create a TBR, and come back and share my picks with you. So I will be right back. Okay, I am back with my TBR. A couple of things. I apologize if you can hear the TV in the background. Other members of this household are now watching TV. And I also have my computer here, so that's why you're seeing a glow from the computer screen. But let's get started. I had 2 books pre-planned for this. So for Pennsylvania, I had The Dutch House by Anne Patchett pre-planned. This was actually recommended to me by my sister-in-law, and I am a little bit nervous for this one because I read Tom Lake last month and I did not love it. I felt it was way overhyped and I didn't really love her writing style, but I have heard that if you don't like one of Anne Patchett's books, that doesn't mean you won't like others, and there are some people who actually love Tom Lake, but they didn't love this one. So I am hopeful that I am the type of person who will love this one. And Goodreads says This is a richly moving story that explores the indelible bond between two siblings, the house of their childhood, and a past that will not let them go. And it is set after the Second World War. So that should be interesting. A little nervous for it, just based on my history with Ann Patchett. Next up is Virginia, and the book I have pre-planned for Virginia I actually own. This is Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. I have been really wanting to read this ever since it came out. I will say I am nervous because this is a huge book. It won the Pulitzer Prize, which means it could be very dense and a little more on the challenging to read side. It is over 540 pages. And so I am investing a lot of time and energy into this book this month, but I think it'll be well worth it. This is the story of a boy born to a teenage single mother in a single wide trailer with no assets beyond his dead father's good looks and copper-colored hair, a caustic wit, and a fierce talent for survival. And I've heard this is just a really great look at what life is like in Appalachia, so I am excited to read this, though a little nervous for its length. All right, next up is Hawaii. Now, when I was researching books for Hawaii, I was coming across a lot of romance novels and mysteries set in Hawaii, and it just felt like those were a little bit more tourist-based, and I wanted to read something that felt a little bit more authentic to who Hawaiians are as a people. And I found Moloka'i by Alan Brennert. This is the first in a series, which I don't know how I feel about starting a new series, but we'll see what happens. This is historical fiction, and it's a richly imagined novel set in Hawaii more than a century ago. It is an extraordinary epic of a little-known time and place, a deeply moving testament to the resiliency of the human spirit. And it's about a 7-year-old girl who has dreams of visiting far-off lands, and one day a rose-colored mark appears on her skin and those dreams are taken from her. Really interesting. Never heard of it before, but it actually seems pretty popular. Hopefully I will enjoy it. Next up is Nebraska, and what I usually do is if I don't have a book pre-planned, I will just Google books set in Nebraska and do some research. And on the first list that I looked at, I saw Attachments by Rainbow Rowell. I have read a handful of Rainbow Rowell's books. This is the one that's stuck around. I used to own all of them up until I think Carry On I got from the library. And then I unhauled all of them except for this one, and I have a short story by her called Kindred Spirits that I do enjoy as well. This one is a contemporary fiction novel set in Nebraska. It's in a corporate office environment where the IT guy is charged with reading all of the emails that people send to each other to make sure they're not talking about non-work related stuff. And so the whole book is really set from their perspective, with him spying over two of the women that work in the office. And I've been thinking about this book a lot lately because I work in corporate America and there's been a lot of tracking going on, a lot of computer monitoring going on. It just feels like Big Brother is watching over every single move we make at the office lately. And so this book has been at the forefront of my mind, and I wanted to reread it now that I've been working in a corporate environment for a little while and see how I feel about it and if it holds up. And this is also a really quick read, so hopefully it will balance out Demon Copperhead. And then finally we have Montana, and for this one I am going to read what I feel like is a classic work of young adult literature. Granted, it was published in 2012, but I feel like I've been hearing about this book for so many years and just never read it. And that is The Miseducation of Cameron Post by Emily M. Danforth. And this one is about a young woman whose parents die suddenly in a car crash, and she is relieved because they will never know that hours earlier she had been kissing a girl. And so from what I remember hearing about this book is it's about a young girl who is coming to terms with her sexuality. So I think that will be a great read and also something to balance out the Demon Copperhead length as well. So that is my little catch up with where I am for the American Lit Reading Challenge, as well as my TBR for the month of August. I hope if you have been sticking around through the year, you've been enjoying these videos. If you're wondering where my July TBR was, I didn't post one because I was so far behind that I used this month to catch up. But I did do a mini impromptu TBR in one of my Friday Reads videos, so I will link that below if you missed it. I am also starting to get caught up on all of the book reviews for each of the books I've read as part of this challenge, so I will leave my playlist linked in the description box below if you want to hear about the books that I've read thus far. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great reading year. Let me know what books you would recommend for the states I picked today, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!